There's a lot of upper body exercises out there, but which ones are the best? The ones that actually give you strength, flexibility, and coordination all at the same time. Well, today, I'm gonna show you 2 of my favorite upper body moves, and I'm gonna show you 4 levels on each one of these movements so you can find the right variation for you that actually feels good, helps you gain that strength, flexibility, balance, and coordination in the least time possible. Let me show you these moves right now. So, we're gonna go over the basic push-up, all right? But we're not gonna start at push-ups because most people can't do those. So the first thing we're gonna do is what's called a seated thigh push-up, okay? So follow along. If push-ups have been hard for you, this is one of my favorite beginner variations of the push-up that can really help you build that mind-muscle connection. So what we're doing here is not necessarily trying to get maximum range of motion. We're trying to feel what it feels like to be able to push your arm forward using your pecs, your chest muscles, while stabilizing your shoulder using your lat and your serratus and your core, okay? So here's what it looks like. Come to the edge of your chair, and we're gonna take a little bit of a wide stance with the toes slightly turned outward. From there, hands go right on top of your thighs, and elbows come up to the outside a little bit, but they don't come up like this, okay? What we wanna avoid is this. We wanna avoid internal rotation of the shoulder, where the shoulder's lifting up and moving forward, all right? So elbows up just a little bit, and all we're gonna do is this. Push the hands into there, and what I want you to feel first is this. I want you to feel your chest muscles working. So push your hands down until you feel your chest muscles working. Maybe you feel your triceps on the back of your arms working a little bit, right? And then what I want you to do is this. Drop the shoulders away from the ears and pull them back, okay? So immediately you're gonna feel the muscles between your shoulder blades pinching together. So boom, now my chest is working. When I drop my shoulders away from my ears, I should feel my muscles underneath my armpits working. If you don't, push your hands into your knees, like push down into the ground, and you'll feel those muscles working, okay? From there, all I want you to do is this. Rock forward, right, while maintaining that tension as far as you can while keeping a flat back, okay? So at the moment you start to round your back like this as you're moving forward, that's the point where you've gone too far. And instead, we wanna make sure we only go as far as we can with a nice flat back like this, okay? And this shouldn't bother your shoulders, so you can reduce the tension if you need to, but we're just trying to feel what it feels like to go from a tall position, arms are straight, triceps are fired, shoulders are down, bending the elbows, pushing into the thighs as much as possible, slow and controlled, squeezing the muscles underneath the armpits, pulling the shoulder blades back, and then pushing forward with the chest muscles, okay? So again, amazing way to get a mind-muscle connection with this movement so that you can start building the strength to do a push-up in a way that is really safe, right? Because when we're just creating our own tension right here, I can loosen up my arms and I can do this with very little tension, right? If I do this with very little tension, then I have a lot less risk for injuring my shoulders, my back, etc. So just do as much tension as you need, but really what we're focusing on is, can we drop the shoulders away from the ears? Can we drop the elbows down? And can we drop the shoulder blades back? And that way we're feeling all the muscles underneath our lats, our chest. It's almost like, imagine this entire belt all the way around your chest and your back is working at the same time, okay? So that is the level 1 variation of the push-up. The level 2 variation of the push-up, you're gonna need a nice sturdy countertop or a chair. And what we're gonna do is what's called a high chair push-up, okay? So I'm gonna go from this angle right here. And what we're gonna do is come into a plank position. I'm gonna describe how to do this with really good form. So first things first. Make sure you have a chair that's not gonna slide forward on you. Make sure you have something that's not gonna slide out from you. Let's all be safe here. Make sure we're safe, okay? From there, we're gonna put our hands on the chair, and most people when they do the push-up, they either make one of these 2 mistakes. They either stick their butt out like this, or they drop their hips super far down like this, and they see that arch in my lower back. Don't do that, okay? Instead, what we wanna do is this. We wanna squeeze the glutes and push the lower back towards the sky. I know it looks like I'm having bad posture here, but this is gonna activate my core, and it's gonna protect my lower back. It's gonna make my core and my upper body a lot stronger if I practice my push-ups this way. Now from there, we're gonna come down into the push-up, and instead of flaring our elbows out like this, a lot of people when they do the push-up, they'll flare their elbows like real far to the outside. You see like this kind of push-up right here? This hurts your shoulders. And the reason why is if I flare my elbow out and I get to here, my pec gets tight. It requires a lot of flexibility. If I keep bringing my elbow backwards, what happens? My shoulder rolls forward and I put my shoulder in a compromised position. So instead what we want is this. As I bring my elbow down, I want it to bring down like this. You see how much more flexibility I have here? And my shoulder never internally rotates or compromises itself. So keeping the elbows low is key here. So glutes, core, keep the elbows low, squeeze the chair with your hands, and you're gonna bring your elbows down to your sides, come down to about 90 degrees or until your chest touches the chair, and come back up. Now, the height of the chair matters here. The higher the chair is or the higher the surface is, the easier this will be. And the closer your feet are to the chair, the easier this will be. So if you wanna make it easier, just come a little bit closer, and all you have to do is this, and just touch your belly to the chair as you go back and forth. If If you wanna make it a little bit harder, just walk your feet away like this, and you can do the same thing just like that, okay? Again, this is another fantastic push-up variation that you can do to start building the strength to do push-ups, but while doing it on a different angle, a different range of motion, so that way you're building the strength safely. All right, so that is level 2. The level 3 variation of the push-up, we turn our chair around, or we find a different surface that's a little bit lower than our knee. Usually this is like the bottom of a chair, an ottoman, a coffee table. And again, let's make sure that everyone here tests to make sure that their chair is strong and sturdy and isn't gonna slide out on them. But from there, the low chair push-up, which is our level 3 movement. So as you can see, we're taking the angle and we're slowly angling it towards a regular push-up. This is a fantastic way to create a motor pattern progression, because as you angle more, then there's more gravity, which makes the movement more challenging, okay? So for this one, we're gonna do the same thing, coming into a push-up position. We're gonna squeeze the glutes, press the lower back up towards the sky, squeeze the core, and this time, same thing, elbows towards the ribs as we go up and down in the low chair push-up. And again, the more forward we are, a little bit easier. The more back we are, is usually a little bit harder. Now, something I wanna point out here though is oftentimes when we put our hands on a flat surface, people can have aches and pains in their wrists. And the reason why is if I put my hands like this, then I have to be able to bend my wrist to 90 degrees. Most people aren't able to do that, and especially not be able to put pressure on the wrist at the same time. So an awesome tip for you is this. Turn your fingers to the outside and try to angle your knuckles down like this. So from a side angle, you see how if I go like this, if I put my hands up there, it's 90 degrees. If I go like this, now my hand's at about 45 degrees right here. 45 degrees instead. So it protects our wrists a little bit. So turning the fingers to the outside, squeezing the outside of the chair, this can often alleviate someone's pain in their hands and in their wrists, okay? So try that out if you wanna give that one a shot. That's level 3, all right? The final level I'm gonna show you for the push-up is going to be the regular old push-up, okay? So what does this look like? Same thing, come down to the floor, make sure the hands are right underneath the shoulders, make sure the glutes and the core are tight, so no sagging the back down like this, no sticking the butt out like this. Glutes and core are tight, lower back is pushed toward the sky. And from there, elbows come towards the ribs. We're gonna come down as deep as you can, ideally going all the way to the ground and then pushing back up just like this. Now the breathing pattern for all these push-ups, inhale down, exhale up, and if you need to, move slow and controlled. And if you have a lot of confidence in your movement, then you can move a little bit faster, okay? So now you can see a motor pattern progression in action, right? We started with the seated thigh push-up, then went to the high chair, low chair, and then floor. So that's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Okay, now we're gonna go to the next upper body move, which is the chair dip, okay? So I'll say the chair dip, but the first variation is going to be not a chair dip at all. It's gonna be activating the triceps and teaching you what that feels like to activate the backs of your arms, all right? So right now, write down upper body 2 or UB2, so you can write down the level. There's gonna be 4 levels for this one as well. The first one is tricep extensions, so on the edge of the chair, nice tall posture. You're gonna bring your arms right in front of you like this, bent at a 90-degree angle. From there, you're going to like karate chop the ground while keeping your elbows in the same spot, and you're gonna squeeze your tricep muscles. So how do you squeeze your tricep muscles? It's by fully extending the arms, all right? If you can't feel your tricep squeezing, you can take your hand and you can put it on one side, and you can fully extend the arms and push that hand down into the ground, and you'll feel this muscle on the back sides of your triceps right here, on the back sides of your arms, firing, okay? So this muscle is simply extending and squeezing, and then bending and creating flexion in the elbow. Extending and squeezing, and then bending and creating flexion in the elbow. Now always remember when we're doing these movements, focus on tall posture, focus on shoulder blades back, don't shrug the shoulders up towards the sky. Those are really important things when we're focusing on this movement. So just back and forth like this, okay? Pretty straightforward. Most people should be able to do this unless you have some serious injury in your elbows, right? So this is your level 1 variation. Level 2 variation is going to be a chair lift, okay? So here's what that looks like. I'm gonna come to the edge of the chair. I'm gonna take my hands and I'm gonna put it on the chair like this, again with my fingertips pointing to the sides like this, and all I'm gonna do is this. Drive my shoulders away from my ears, I'm gonna push into the chair as hard as I can, and I'm gonna slowly scoot my butt off the chair like this, and I'm gonna hold for a second, and then I'm gonna bring my body back down. Then I'm gonna push my butt up like this, I'm gonna hold for a second, and I'm gonna bring my body back down, okay? And so that's the variation we wanna do for level 2. Now there's a few ways to tweak this for yourself. If you can lift your hips up off the chair all the way and you can bring them back down really easily, that's great. A lot of people, they don't have the flexibility to be able to lift their butt up and bring their butt forward. At that point, maybe their butt's down like this. So pay close attention. Your shoulders should be away from your ears and pulled back. if we do shoulders away from the ears and pulled back, and we're pushing into the chair, what you'll feel is the triceps extending, the same way we were just working on that first level. So we're warming up the movement with level 1. We're applying that movement to a more functional pattern in level 2, okay? If that's too hard for you, but this is too easy for you, then just stay at the edge of the chair, put your hands down, drop your shoulders away from your ears, lift your chest, pull your shoulder blades together, and just squeeze the triceps for a second, and then pause and reset. And this will help you build the strength to then eventually lift the hips forward. We'll call that level 1.5, but let's go with level 1 or 2 on these ones, okay? Once you've tested out level 2, we can go what's called a half chair dip, but I really want you to pay close attention to this half chair dip, because if you do this wrong, you can put your shoulders in a compromised position. But if you do it right, you can create tons of flexibility, and it's gonna make your body feel amazing, okay? So same thing, fingertips to the outside. We're gonna come into that lift right here. So you should not be doing this if you couldn't do that level 2 variation. From here, shoulder blades back, chest up, and we're gonna bend the elbows, and we're not gonna let the elbows flare forward like this. We're gonna keep the elbows pointed backwards like this, okay? And you'll feel a stretch in the fronts of your shoulders and your biceps. Go about halfway down. So maybe a 45-degree bend, and then extend back up. And this time I want you to lift the chest as much as possible. So as I'm doing this, I'm actually actively pushing my hands like backwards. I'm basically doing this right here, pushing my hands behind me to fire the triceps and to pull the shoulder blades into a position that's going to encourage better posture. When I'm here, I'm strengthening all the muscles that bring me here. And so much of our lives are spent sitting forward like this. And so this is one of the best movements you can do to really bring your body back into good alignment, okay? So again, coming up like this, shoulder blades back and down, and just going halfway down and back up, all right? This is our level 3 variation of the chair dip. Now, the difference between level 3 and level 4 doesn't have that much to do with strength, but it has a lot to do with range of motion. So here's what that looks like. I'm gonna do the exact same thing as I did for level 3, but this time I'm gonna try to get my butt all the way to the ground or my elbows bent to 90 degrees. But here's the kicker. If I'm up here like this, my shoulder blades are back and down, my elbows come back, and I'm coming down like this, at some point, I'm gonna hit a spot where I'm not as flexible as I need to be, and I'm gonna roll my shoulders forward like this, okay? The moment I feel my shoulders shrug up and roll forward and my back start to round like this, I've gone too far. We wanna only go as far as we can while keeping the shoulder blades back and the shoulders away from your ears. So go as far as you can, should be more than halfway, and then extend up and push the arms back. And so this would be the full range of motion chair dip. What a fantastic move. If this is still too easy for you, you can always put your legs out front like this, and that's gonna make it even harder for you. So, on upper body number 2, pick your variation. Level 1 is the tricep extension. Level 2 is just pushing the arms down and coming into that lift for a second and coming back down. Level 3 is that half range of motion, and level 4 is that full range of motion in the chair dip, okay? All right, there you have it, my 2 favorite upper body moves and 4 levels for each one of those moves, okay? If you like the way that we took you from beginner to intermediate to more advanced variation of these movements, well, that's exactly what we do with our WeShape personalized workout plans. We ask you questions about your goals and your capabilities, and our software creates a personalized workout plan where every movement is selected for you based on those goals and those capabilities. But you gotta try it out for yourself to really feel the difference of a WeShape workout. So all you have to do right now is click the link below and you can try it for free. Otherwise, if you want some more moves to try these ones right here.